Hello and welcome to my latest RP Guilds video, which has been a long time, as it always is a long time with me. Okay, so big changes this time, and this is why I'm making the video. We have decided to move over to Towny. I know a lot of people are upset, a lot of people are worried, and I know a lot of people got their own opinions on what Towny is. My personal opinion when I first found Towny I wasn't 100% sure on what it was like. I'd heard quite a lot of bad things about it actually. But we've playing with it for a little bit. I've really warmed up to it, and I think it's a lot better than Factions. Another thing that's always said about Towny is that it's a lot more complex. Now, the realistic kind of term behind that is actually wrong. It's not more complex. It's only more complex if you actually go into some of the Towny features that, like, for example, Factions doesn't have, which maybe you don't understand, like taxes, selling plots, and things like that. If you want to run Towny like you ran your faction, maybe, it's the same. It's just instead of /f, there's /town in front of it, or /resident. It's very simple to get your head around. It's not as complex as people make it out to be. There are some commands, and there are plenty advantages to Towny, which I'll go over. But firstly, why are we going with Towny? Well, basic reason is that factions are no longer developing to a good standard for RP guilds. They're not developing in. They're causing problems with other plugins not integrating with the plugins correctly. They're developing in more of a PvP than a roleplay way. Factions has always had that over Towny. That if you're here for PvP, then yeah, Factions is probably better for you. But if you're here for the roleplay, Towny, I can guarantee you will enjoy your time so much more. It's got so much more roleplay, kind of a much more roleplay friendly environment than Factions does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick tutorial on the basics to show you how basic it actually is to use Towny. But what I'm going to show you first is my favourite feature. I mean, I've only been practicing with Towny for not long at all, and can I just say that this is amazing. Are you ready for this? Right. Hello, Mr. Creeper. Okay, so Creeper explodes. Look at it. This is how we plan to have it on the server. I know I'm on a private server at the moment, but if we wait a little bit, you'll see what goes on here. But while that does that, you've probably noticed this smoke. If any of you were ever involved in plotting chunks in Factions, you noticed how hard and how laggy it was. I know I'm a bit laggy at the moment. That's because I'm recording. My computer's not the best for recording. So basically, what I want to show you is this smoke right here. This is the chunk outlines. So you can see how much easier it actually will be to plot chunks. For example, you can see that the corners, sorry I missed that block, are here, 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 and here. And there you have the outline of a chunk. Okay, so let's go back to this. You can see, this is how it's actually going to work on the server. The explosion is actually repairing itself. So what we'll be having is temporary kind of explosions, which adds the feel of Minecraft back, to where you first walk up to a creeper and it explodes your house. You're like, no! How could this happen? So you're still annoyed by that, but what you don't realise is that in 10 to 20 seconds, it's going to be completely rebuilt. So there's no worries about that. This is also really good for raids and for mining. Mining, obviously, it rebuilds after you're behind you, so you'd have to be pretty damn quick. But this also works with TNT, so it's really good for raids and items like that. You can see that even the creeper heads, well, they've replaced the skeleton heads, so maybe a bit careful with heads. But you can see that the object actually rebuilds itself. I mean, this is personally my favourite feature of Towny, and this is something that Towny amazes me. So what I'm going to do, let's head on to the kind of commands. The commands are very basic. The other thing that you might want to get your head around first is there are two types of factions. There's towns and there's nations. Towns are kind of like, if you imagine, you're basically like a faction, but that doesn't really have much of a diplomatic say. So one faction alone can't really go to war and do other things diplomatically. It's kind of like they can raid, but there's no kind of like, you're my enemy now, I will fight you to the death. There's none of that. What you want to do is get a nation from this, and a nation allows groups of factions to come together, create a county or a group of towns, make this this nation, and you pick whoever creates it gets to pick the capital city, which will be their city, the faction that they're in, and then from that they can declare war. and they can go on to engage in PvP. It's a lot more diplomatic behind it, so you can see how the roleplay will improve. This obviously aids Struggle for Kings massively. It's going to be really good when we get 2.0 up. It's really going to be nice. Okay, so let's get down to the basics now. Let's get down to the commands. Okay, so simply to create a town, which is what you're going to want to do. You need to create a town before you create a nation, so everybody needs to create a town. I'm just going to call this Sam's Town for now. And you'll see that I can't afford it. Towns are actually 150. So I'm just going to go ahead and give myself 1,000. So towns are 150 to create. I've now created my town. So it's as simple as that. Just like factions, it's as simple as that. From that, I can then go out and claim chunks using my beautiful little smoke tool, which you can use by, see if I can find the command for it again. There we go. The /resident toggle space plot border. That will bring up the chunks automatically, and you can toggle that off by simply entering the command again. So you can see that this is my center tile. This is very important. If you see, you can see where Wilderness and Sam's Town settlement comes up. You'll see there. Towns also have ranks. The more people you have in your town, the more you rank up. So you can add. So at the moment I'm a level 1 town, and that's a settlement. You can go up to become a village, then a larger town, then even a city. And it all depends on the amount of people you've got. So it encourages you guys to invite more people into your faction and create bigger numbers in towns. You also, depending on your faction, gives you a specific title. Because I'm in a settlement, let me see what I am. If I type /town, it gives me all the information. I'm an elder, so settlements have elders. I believe villages also have a village elder. So elder is kind of like the basic. You've got a town, but it's only a couple of people. You're not really a leader yet. You've not got the power behind you. So that's basically what the /town command does. It shows you everything you need, from who's in your faction to your town size, and just like factions, per person, it's 10 chunks per person you have in your faction, and it's 2.5 to buy a plot. Simples, right? You can see the town board. That's kind of like the town description. Apart from now, it's more about it's kind of also can be used as an announcement or a message board to get information out to your players, or you can just use it as a description as before. That's completely up to you. You'll also see that there's daily upkeep and tax. Now, these are not 100% where we're going with this. We're not fully decided whether we're going to implement this and how we're going to implement it. But to keep it basic, we're not going to talk about that now, and it won't be implemented during the day of release. So basically, and then to claim, this is what you're going to want to be doing next, I'm sure, if you've got a town, is you just type town, plot claim, I think it is. Nope, it's town claim. There we go. You can see that I already own this chunk. If I go over here. What I also need to do is, I've just noticed as well, that my bank is 0, so has no money. So that's a problem. We have no money. So let's deposit some money, just like you would in factions. I'm going to deposit, let's say 200 gold. And there we go. So it's /town deposit 200 gold, and now I've just given 200 gold to my bank. This will allow me to claim chunks, as you can see here. Please be patient. It gives you a nice little note saying that the plot's about to be claimed. So my town now owns this plot. As you can see, when I walk into it, it's now Sam's Town. And I can do this as much as I want. There are also more complex versions of the town claim command, which allows you to claim in a circle and a square and different shapes more efficiently. So if you want to claim big town radius in one go, you can do that as well. I'll make sure that everybody's aware of the link to the wiki. It's much better than the factions kind of descriptions of how to use it. I mean, that's basically it. That is everything that factions really has to offer, apart from the relationships between. For example, making enemy, neutral, and ally. Now, that is quite hard. I will admit that is something that it's more based on nations making enemies, and so the nations make the decisions, but towns will come together in big groups and speak as meetings, council meetings, to the leaders of their nations and decide whether this other nation's being a pain in the ass. They want to go kick some butt. So that's completely their choice. So hopefully you'll all get involved in this. It's all about getting more players and then working your way up to becoming a nation and bringing more towns under your belt. So there's more to it than just a simple war all the time. Obviously wars now have the ability to, you've got ladders and you can use TNT. There's so much more diverse and so much more 3D, and you can break down doors How amazing is that? How long and how many people have been waiting when you're raiding for somebody to come out and from hiding behind their wooden door? Yes, during a raid you can now break off wooden doors. Isn't that amazing? And that is basically as simple as it is. I mean, there are some other useful commands like /Towny map, which is just like /f map. You can see there that you can see plots of sale. You can see plots for sale. You can see your allies. You can see your enemies. You can see unclaimed plots. All that so easily. It's just it is really just as simple as factions, unless you want to go into the complex stuff like taxes. I'm probably not going to make a video on that. It'll be more kind of if you want to set up taxes, you might want to go and find it out for yourself. Go on the wiki. It's well detailed and it's really easily set out, so you can read it easily, find what you want to find out, and head out there. But that is as simple as it is to create a town. From this you can get up into the world. I believe that towns, remember this is important, towns are 150 gold. That's £100 cheaper, that's 100 gold, sorry, cheaper than a faction. But that's because towns can't do quite as much as a faction. So what you really want to do is, if you really want to be big in the kind of diplomatic relations, you want to have a load of towns under your belt, you want to become a capital city, you want to grow up to becoming a nation. Obviously the kingdoms will be available, so people will be able to join the kingdoms, and obviously Towny will show you later on how Towny will really integrate with Struggle for Kings. I'm sorry for ranting on for a bit. I hope this video helps you in some methods of understanding. The Towny is going to be great. If you have any more questions, feel free to come on Teamspeak. There's usually now always an admin or a moderator or a team member on Teamspeak. It's ts.rpguilds. Line. I've forgotten what it's called. Line. Yes, ts.rpguilds.line .com, I believe, :1003, I believe. If not, I'll put a link in the bottom. I might have got that wrong. So come and enjoy. I'm sure the majority of you are really looking forward to this, but those who aren't and those who are a bit worried, please feel free to come and chat to myself or Fargaze or Zero or any other member of staff who might be able to help you with any problems. We also have a forum thread which we try to answer questions as fast as possible. So please just come along and enjoy your time playing with us. Thanks guys.